Hello everybody, Ram Ram, welcome to the Why Stories. My name is Yuvragi and I am here to tell you yet another interesting story. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Today's story is inspired by Panchatantra. So once upon a time, there was a farmer called Moolchand Chaudhary. Moolchand ji was very tired of doing the mundane everyday farming activity, be it planting the seeds, plowing the field, watering the crop, ensuring no pests infest them, ensuring harvesting the crop, taking it to the market to sell it. He was tired of it. So one day he stood tired, exhausted next to a rohida tree and said, "Oh God, I wish there was someone who would just do what I asked him or her to do, and I wouldn't have to do all this farming work." And suddenly, out of nowhere, appeared a demon-looking genie who laughed an evil laugh. And he said, "I am Daaki. Tell me the work or I will eat you." Moolchand ji was surprised, saying, "Where did this gentleman come from?" And then he realized, oh, maybe God heard my wish and has granted my wish. He said, "Oh yes, there's so much to do. Now this standing crop is ready for harvesting. Go harvest the crop." Like a whirlwind, he went like a wish, and he harvested the entire crop within minutes. And he said, "Tell me the work or I will eat you." To which Moolchand ji said, "Oh, there is more work. What about putting all the grain into gunny bags?" So, like a torpedo, he put all the grain into gunny bags and came back and said, "Tell me the work or I will eat you." So Moolchand ji said, "Oh, there is more work. Carry all these gunny bags back home." Like a whirlwind, he took all the gunny bags to Moolchand ji's house and went and said, "Tell me the work or I will eat you." To which Moolchand ji thought and he said, "Okay, go collect some firewood for the house and do not be in a hurry." So while he was away collecting firewood, someone came visiting Moolchand ji. Yes, it was Seth Moolchand ji. He was the local kirana shop owner and he came back and asked Moolchand ji how he was doing. They exchanged pleasantries and then suddenly came back Daaki. He said, "Tell me the work or I will eat you." Now Moolchand ji was tired. There was not much to tell him. So he thought and said, "Okay, get me 4 buckets of water, too hot and too cold, and don't be in a hurry." And so Daaki went like a whirlwind again, trying to organize water. Now watching all this, Seth ji said, "Wow, Moolchand ji, you are living in luxury. You have servants and people at your beck and call. Wow." So Moolchand ji thought, what a menace. I might as well pass it on to Seth ji. So he said, "If you like, you can have him, Seth ji." Seth ji was thrilled beyond no measure. Said, "Really?" Yes, Seth ji, you can have him." So Seth ji took out his copy and took note of this transaction that Moolchand ji was doing with him. And just when Daaki returned, he said, "Tell me the work or I will eat you." So Moolchand ji said, "Daaki, from now on, Seth ji will tell you all the work. So now you go with him." So Daaki left with Seth ji and Seth ji took him to his kirana shop and said, "Now Daaki, my kirana shop is in a big mess. I want you to organize my shop." So like a little hurricane, he went round and round the shop and within minutes, the whole shop was organized and he came back saying, "Tell me the work or I will eat you." So Seth ji started to laugh. Yes, there is a lot of work. Come with me to the go down. And he took the genie to the go down and he said, "Well, do you see those cans of oil scattered around? I want you to organize those cans of oil." And like a whirlwind, within seconds, the genie organized all the cans of oil and came back saying, "Tell me the work or I will eat you." So Seth ji laughed again, said, Oh, there is more work. Do you see those gunny bags of grain loaded onto that truck? Unload all of them and organize them in the go down. So within minutes, you wouldn't even believe your eyes. The genie had all the gunny bags unloaded off the truck and organized in the godown. And he came back saying, "Tell me the work or I will eat you." Now Sethji thought, and he thought harder and he said, "Okay, come with me." And he took the genie outside the shop and outside the godown, and he said, "Now bring me a big long bamboo stick about 100 feet long, and don't be in a rush." So the Daaki went and quickly returned with a long bamboo stick. So now Sethji said, "Fix this bamboo stick about 10 feet under the ground so that it's firm and strong, standing tall." And within seconds, he did just that. And he said, "Tell me the work or I will eat you." So Sethji replied, "Yes, I'm telling you. Now climb all the way to the top of the bamboo stick that you have just planted." So he went all the way up, and then Sethji said, "Come down." He came down, and Sethji said, "Climb up again," and he climbed up again, and Sethji said, "Come down," and he came down again. And then Sethji replied saying, "Now Daaki, your job is to climb up the stick and down the stick, and up the stick and down the stick." And saying that, he went to his shop. Now poor Daaki, he had to go up the stick and down the stick, and up the stick and down the stick, and up the stick and down the stick. Daaki was exhausted with going all that up and down, and with huffing and puffing he came to Sethji, and he said, "Sethji, I can't do any more up and down." Sethji said, "How can that be? You said you will do whatever I tell you to do. Now do this." He said, "Sethji, I realize my mistake. I will only do the work that you ask me to do. Until then, I will sit quietly in one corner. Please have some mercy on me. Give me some respite." So Sethji laughed and he said, "All right, sit in that corner." Now, to find out how Sethji was doing, Moolchand was very curious. So he walked past Sethji's kirana store and said, "Sethji, how have you been?" Sethji said, "Never better." And then he looked at Daaki sitting in one corner. Moolchand could not believe his eyes that Daaki, the genie, was sitting quietly in one corner. And he asked, "Sethji, how did this happen? How is he sitting quietly in one corner?" Sethji replied, "Well," twirling his moustache, he said, "I am Sethji for no easy peasy reason. I am smart, and that's why." And Moolchand went back home scratching his head. He just couldn't understand how did Sethji manage to tame Daaki the genie. But on the contrary, he got another thought, and he thought to himself that had he not even wished for such a thing, he would not be in such a situation. He realized that each one of us should be willing and happy to do our job, our duty, because that's what we are supposed to do, rather than expecting someone else to do our work for us. I hope you enjoyed this story today. Until we meet again, Ram Ram.